All right, second floor system. Uh, I'm working on my second floor level, and I adjusted. I turned on underlay of the first floor, and I adjusted my level um, down just a little bit. Let's see here. We go. My view range. I moved the bottom down 6 inches in the view depth so that I could see, I could see and work with uh, my header and end joists that I put in. And just like we did with the first floor, you draw these as a beam, okay? And I drew them and then went to my section views and aligned them into the walls and locked them into place, okay? And so I found that to be an easier way than trying to draw them in place, okay? So you want to get those in, and then you're going to do a floor system. And I'll pause the video and then come back in a minute. But we have two different beam systems that we're going to put in because the one up here, they're at 16-inch on center, and then the one down here is at 12-inch on center spacing. Um, and so what I've done here is all of these walls that you don't see, I just did a temporary I just did a temporary hide so that I could see where my joists are, and I'll use this view to put my beam system in so that those second floor walls are not kind of bothering me getting in the way. Um, so yeah, there we are, and I'll pause the video and then come back after I've got that set up and started. Okay, second floor system. I'm feeling good now because I I figured out an easier way to get the spacing started out right. Anyway, you're going to have two systems here. I've already got the one up here drawn in. These are 16 inches on center, and they end on the center of this first floor wall here. So the ones down in this portion are 12 inches on center. So go into beam systems. We're working off of the second floor level, and you want to drop it 3/4 of an inch, okay, for elevation. Fixed distance rule, whatever the spacing, whether it's the 12 inch or the 16 inch. And then change justification for direction line. Okay. And the direction line is excuse me, it's typically the first line you draw. Now you can change it up here. And if you'll notice, I put that first line on the outside edge of, of my first joist, okay, that I drew in previously as a beam, okay? So I put that on the outside edge. And as you draw these, they may not snap accordingly to the edge of the 2x10, so you may have to align and lock it. Okay, no big deal, but go do the sketch, go through and check all of those. All right, direction line, dimensional number 2x10, apply all those things, and then click yes, and then it puts it in there for you. And when I come in here to check a dimension from the center of that to the outside edge, I get 12 inches. And of course, they're going to be 12 inches apart all the way across. These up here were 16 from the outside edge. Remember, I had said that in the previous video on the first floor. When they start laying the plywood subfloor, they'll start at one end of the house and go across. So everything needs to be on the right spacing for those boards to go in. When you get down here to the end on this one up here, I had to select that one particular joist and unpin it. And then I moved it outside of the joist that it was sitting inside of, and I aligned those and locked it back in place. Okay. And as we develop on our walls, we'll see what we got going on here with this stuff and working with our stairways. But that's that is that. Um, Next is going to be figuring out our floor system in here so that it will cut into the walls. I think we can do that by placing two floor systems and making one of them invisible. I think that will work. Let me try that, and I'll pause the video and come back. Well, more interesting things that we're learning about Revit. Um, I did the second floor, went ahead and sketched in for the plywood subfloor, and let me go to here. I did it as just plywood to start with, and it would not ask me to extend into the core of the wall. And I've tried a couple of different things. Can't seem to make that work. I don't know if it's because we already had this floor system, the beams and joists and stuff in there, or if it's because we edited the bottom of the wall here so that we could drag it up. I just don't know. Whatever, I don't know, I just don't know. So here's what I ended up doing. I created a floor system that's plywood subfloor 3/4 and void. And made it 10 inches thick, the plywood, and then I did another piece of here and just called it air. That makes it white. Okay. So I did that, put the floor in. Some of the walls here are only go to the first floor, from first floor to second floor. So with those, I went back in and edited the wall type so that I could adjust the height of it. And I drug down the top of the stud and the top of the drywall on the inside. Okay. And that took care, that's a number of the walls. And let me go to this section. However, on the walls that go all the way up, couldn't do that. Okay. So once I had this floor system created and put in, you can go join and choose the floor first, then choose the wall, and it should cut out the wall where the floor goes through, just like you're seeing right here. Well, here's one over here that I haven't done yet, so I'll do this one over here. So join, pick the floor first, pick the wall second, and there it is. Okay. And so it's my joists are still there, but they're colored white because of the air layer. But when we go to produce our drawings, our section will at least look kind of right, except for that little corner right there. Oh, that's that line going out. Okay, so I think that'll be okay. Anyway, at least we got a second floor system in now, hey? Okay. Next is going to be doors and windows, and I'm going to get into that, and then we'll attack stairwell.